Hello friends, welcome to Global Travel Venture. Ever had your flight canceled just 24 hours before departure? Let's take a stroll through the life of a seasoned traveler, our friend David, who found himself in that very predicament. David, a frequent flyer, was all set to embark on yet another exciting journey. His suitcase was packed, his itinerary was planned, and his anticipation was through the roof. But then, out of the blue, he was hit with a bombshell. His flight, the one he had been eagerly awaiting, was canceled just 24 hours before his departure. As you can imagine, David's initial reaction was one of panic and confusion. His heart sank, and his mind began racing with questions. Why was the flight canceled? What am I supposed to do now? Will I be able to reach my destination on time? These are all valid questions, ones that any of us would likely have in such a situation. It's easy to get swept up in the chaos and let panic set in. But, as our story with David will demonstrate, the key in these situations is to stay calm. Yes, you heard that right. Calmness is the secret weapon when dealing with unexpected flight cancellations. It's like the eye of the storm, the calm center that allows you to think clearly and make rational decisions amidst the turbulence of confusion and uncertainty. David, being a seasoned traveler, knew this. So despite the initial shock, he took a deep breath, steadied his nerves, and reminded himself that panicking wouldn't get him anywhere. He knew that the situation was out of his control, and the best thing he could do was to understand the situation, figure out his options, and make a plan. So, there we have it. The first chapter in David's unexpected adventure. His flight was canceled, and he was left in a sea of uncertainty. But by keeping calm, he was able to keep his wits about him and prepare for the next steps. Now, what should David do next? Stick with us to find out. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more travel tips and guides. First things first, understanding the situation. It's crucial to comprehend why your flight may have been canceled. Some of the common reasons for flight cancellations include severe weather conditions, mechanical issues, and even labor strikes. These are all situations that are typically out of the airline's control. However, sometimes airlines may cancel flights due to scheduling issues or low demand for a particular route. Now, how do airlines usually notify their passengers about a cancellation? Most airlines will send an email notification or even a text message alert. Some will attempt to call you directly, especially if the cancellation is close to the departure date. So if you're not a fan of checking your inbox regularly, it might be a good idea to start doing so, especially before a flight. Once you receive the notification, it's paramount to read it thoroughly. This email or text message will often provide vital information about the reason for the cancellation, the airline's proposed solution or alternatives, and sometimes, even an offer of compensation or refund. Don't just skim through the message. Instead, take the time to understand every single detail. While it may be tempting to react immediately, remember to take a deep breath and assess the situation. It's easy to get overwhelmed, especially if you're in the middle of travel plans or if you're on a tight schedule. However, acting out of panic may lead you to make hasty decisions that you might regret later. The key to handling flight cancellations effectively is to stay informed and level-headed. Understand the reason behind the cancellation, read the notification carefully, and then plan your next steps accordingly. Your decision-making process will be significantly easier and more effective once you have all the necessary information at hand. So before you start dialing the airline's customer service number or venting your frustration on social media, take a moment to understand the situation. This will not only save you time and effort, but also ensure that you're making the best out of an unfortunate situation. Remember, knowledge is power. Next, David needs to know his rights. Now, this is something we all need to pay attention to because it can really make a difference when you're dealing with flight cancellations. We often forget that airlines, like any other service provider, have responsibilities towards their passengers. In the event of a flight cancellation, they are obligated to provide certain services or compensations. This is where knowing your rights comes into play. First things first, you are entitled to a refund or a rerouting. If your flight is canceled, you can either ask for your money back or request an alternative flight. But here's a little tip. If you opt for rerouting, you might get to your destination faster than if you wait for a refund and then book a new flight yourself. But that's not all. If you're stranded at the airport due to the cancellation, the airline should provide you with care and assistance. This usually includes meals, refreshments, and accommodation if necessary. So if you find yourself having to pay for a hotel room and meals because of a canceled flight, remember to keep your receipts. You should be able to claim these expenses back from the airline. Now let's talk about compensation. In some cases, you may be entitled to financial compensation. This is usually determined by factors such as the length of the delay and the distance of the flight. However, the rules around this can be complex and vary depending on the country and the airline, so it's worth doing a little research to find out what you're entitled to. Remember, knowledge is power. The more you know about your rights as a passenger, the better equipped you'll be to deal with flight cancellations. And the less likely you'll be to let a cancellation ruin your travel plans. Knowing your rights can save you a lot of hassle. So next time your flight is canceled, don't panic. Stay informed, stay calm, and know that you have rights that can help you navigate the situation. Now it's time to take action. David should reach out to the airline. His first step is to determine the best method of contact. There are several ways to do this, each with their own benefits and potential drawbacks. One of the most direct routes is to call the airline's customer service hotline. This provides a chance for immediate dialogue, allowing David to articulate his concerns and, hopefully, find a solution. However, he might face long wait times, especially if many flights have been canceled. Another option is to use social media platforms. Many airlines have dedicated customer service teams handling their Twitter or Facebook accounts. This method can be quicker and more convenient, but John needs to be careful not to share any sensitive information publicly. Email or the contact form on the airline's website is another avenue. This might take longer to get a response, but it does provide a written record of the conversation, which could be useful if disputes arise later. Regardless of the method chosen, David needs to be polite yet assertive. He should clearly explain the situation, stating his flight number, the time of cancellation, and the impact it has on his plans. It's helpful to show understanding. After all, flight cancellations often happen due to reasons beyond the airline's control. Yet, he shouldn't shy away from firmly expressing his need for a solution. It's also worth asking about any compensation or alternate flights available. Remember, airlines have a responsibility to their passengers, and they often have policies in place to assist in situations like this. In case the first person David talks to can't help, he shouldn't hesitate to ask for a supervisor. Sometimes it takes a little persistence to get things moving. Finally, David should keep a record of all his communications with the airline. This could be crucial if he needs to escalate his case further. Remember, the goal is to find a solution. While it can be frustrating when a flight is canceled, taking the right steps can help turn the situation around. While waiting for a response from the airline, David can explore alternative flights. Now you might be thinking, how do I even start looking for other flights? Well, it's not as daunting as it seems. The first step is to get online. There are plenty of flight search engines out there like Google Flights, Skyscanner, and Expedia. These platforms can help you navigate through the sea of available flights, filtering by your preferred departure and arrival times, airlines, and even the number of layovers. But here's a pro tip. Don't just limit yourself to one search engine. Different platforms may offer different flights or prices, so it pays to shop around. Be sure to check the airline's official websites too. They sometimes have deals that don't appear on other platforms. Now let's talk about flexibility. When your flight is canceled, it's crucial to be open to changes. This could mean considering different departure or arrival dates. Can you leave a day earlier or return a day later? If so, you might find a wider range of flights to choose from. The same goes for airports. If you're in a city with more than one airport, or there's another airport within a reasonable distance, check flights from there too. You might have to arrange additional transportation, but it could be worth it if it means getting to your destination on time. Remember, it's not just about finding any flight. It's about finding the best alternative that suits your needs. So, take a deep breath, grab a cup of coffee, and start exploring your options. It might take a bit of time and effort, but the peace of mind you'll gain is priceless. And one more thing, keep an eye on your emails and phone. The airline could get back to you with a solution while you're searching. If they offer you a suitable alternative, you can stop your search and accept their offer. A little flexibility can go a long way. David should also check if he has any insurance or credit card benefits. This is a crucial step that is often overlooked. Insurance can provide a safety net when unexpected flight cancellations occur. Travel insurance, for instance, can cover a multitude of travel hiccups, including flight cancellations. But remember, not all insurance policies are created equal. You need to read the fine print. Some policies might only cover cancellations due to weather or mechanical issues, while others may cover a wider range of reasons. Now let's talk about credit cards. Many credit card companies offer travel benefits, and some of these may include coverage for flight cancellations. If David booked his flight using a credit card, he might already have some degree of protection without even knowing it. Again, it's crucial to understand the specifics of what is covered. Let's say David has a credit card that offers trip cancellation insurance. This benefit could reimburse him for prepaid, non-refundable travel expenses if his trip is interrupted due to a covered reason. Some cards could even offer trip delay insurance, covering expenses like meals and lodging if David's flight is delayed a certain number of hours. But it's not just about having insurance or credit card benefits, it's about understanding them. David needs to know the ins and outs of his policy. He needs to know what's covered, what's not, and what steps he needs to take to file a claim. For instance, some policies may require him to contact the insurer within a certain time frame, or they might need documentation like receipts or a letter from the airline explaining the cancellation, so always keep in mind, the devil is in the details. In short, insurance and credit card benefits can be a great help when dealing with flight cancellations. They can provide financial protection and peace of mind during a stressful situation. Insurance can be a lifesaver in these situations. Remember, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Lastly, David should keep all his receipts and document everything. Now you're probably wondering, why is this so important? Let's delve a bit deeper. Picture this. David's flight got canceled. He's stranded in a city far from home, and he's incurred some extra costs because of this unexpected twist. Maybe he's had to book a hotel for the night, or perhaps he's spent a bit more on meals than he initially planned. These are unexpected expenses, and they can quickly add up. If David has kept every single receipt, he's got proof of these costs. This, my friends, is the first step to ensuring he's not left out of pocket because of a cancellation that was beyond his control. But it's not just about keeping the receipts. Documentation is key. Every conversation he's had with the airline, every email he's received, and every decision he's made in response to the cancellation. Now you might be thinking, that sounds like a lot of work, and you're not wrong. But consider this. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to forget details. Which representative did he speak to? What exactly did they promise? When did they say they would follow up? By documenting everything as it happens, David can answer these questions with confidence and precision. He's got a record that he can refer back to, a timeline of events that can clarify any confusion or dispute. Moreover, this documentation can prove invaluable if he needs to file a claim later. Whether it's with the airline, his travel insurance company, or his credit card provider, having a thorough record of the cancellation and its aftermath can strengthen his case and increase his chances of reimbursement. So David's mantra in this situation should be, keep, record, and document. It's a small effort that can potentially save him a lot of trouble and money down the line. And remember, it's not just about getting through the immediate crisis. It's about safeguarding his rights and ensuring he's covered for any fallout. This can be crucial if David needs to file a claim later, and with that, we're ready to wrap up. Stay tuned for the final scene. Now let's wrap up everything we've learned. From the moment David received the unexpected news of his flight cancellation, he didn't panic. He understood the situation, recognizing that these things happen, and it's how we respond that makes the difference. David knew his rights as a passenger, and leveraged this knowledge to his advantage. He reached out to the airline directly, communicating effectively to negotiate his next steps. David didn't stop there. He explored alternative flights, keeping his options open and staying flexible. He then looked into his travel insurance and credit card benefits, finding additional avenues for potential compensation. Throughout the entire process, David was meticulous in keeping his receipts and documenting everything, ensuring he had all necessary evidence if needed. While flight cancellations can be stressful, knowing what to do can make the situation a whole lot easier. Remember, like David, you too can navigate through these bumps in your travel journey with grace and poise.